To all my valued listeners and viewers, in our today's session, we're going to have our Cele, Hydraulics and Geotechnical Engineering, board problem number 2. In our today's session, we're going to solve another board exam type of problem. So let us start solving one geotechnical engineering problem by this time. And this is our problem for our today's session. An undisturbed sample of clay soil is found to have a weight of 285 newtons, a dry weight of 250 newtons, and a total volume of 14 times 10 to the third power cubic centimeters. If the specific gravity of soil solids is 2.70, we have to determine the water content, void ratio, and the degree of saturation. So in this situation, we have three questions. So the first one, we have to calculate for the water content. Second, the void ratio. And for the last one, we have the degree of saturation. As we can see, upon reading this problem, we have lots of given. First, we have the W wet or wet weight, which is amounting to 285 newtons. But of course, we have also the dry weight of 250 newton and total volume. We have 14 times 10 to the third power cubic centimeter, and of course the specific gravity of soil as 2.70. Again, for our wet weight, 285 newtons. But of course, we also have the weight dry as 250 newtons. And we also have our total volume amounting to 14 times 10 to the third power cubic centimeters. And also, we have the value for our specific gravity as 2.70. Now, it's about time to calculate for our water content. And the formula for water content is this one, wet weight minus dry weight over dry weight times 100%. Now, coming up next is our direct substitution to the formula. Since we already have the given for the wet weight and the dry weight. Now, our water content is equal to 285 minus 250 all over 250 times 100%. And then, of course, our final answer for our water content is 14%. So let us solve another item for this situation. The second unknown is actually the void ratio. Void ratio is represented by small letter e. So what is then the value of our e, which is also our void ratio? In order to calculate for the void ratio, let us try to have a recall of our formula for the unit weight dry. Unit weight dry is also equal to the product of specific gravity and the unit weight of water all over 1 plus E. E is actually the void ratio. But on the other hand, we also need to recall the formula or the other formula for unit weight dry. And unit weight dry is also equals to the dry weight all over total volume. And now, let's do the substitution process by using the formula dry unit weight equals dry weight all over the total volume. Since it is the best way to determine the value of dry unit weight, because we have to calculate first for the dry unit weight. As we can see, the first formula is dry unit weight equals to the product of specific gravity and unit weight of water divided by 1 plus E. In this given formula, the only missing is E and the dry unit weight. That is why we have to calculate for the dry unit weight to solve for the void ratio. And take note of this, specific gravity is already given and even the unit weight of water. So we have to determine first for the dry unit weight. And now, we have already calculated for the value of the dry unit weight, and we have it as 17.86 kilonewton per cubic meter. After calculating the dry unit weight, we can then now solve for the void ratio E by using the previous formula. Dry unit weight equals to GS, unit weight of water, all over 1 plus E. Now let's do the direct substitution. Now, after the direct substitution process, we have now our equation as 17.86 equal 2.7 times 9.81 all over 1 plus E. Now, in order to calculate for this as fast as we can, all we have to do is to use our Canon calculator or Casio by applying the shift calc strategy as calculator technique. Finally, the value of our void ratio is 0.483. Let us now move then to the other unknown, which is actually the degree of saturation. And this is now our formula that we're going to use in finding the value of the degree of saturation. Degree of saturation is represented by capital letter S, and its value is the product of specific gravity and water content divided by void ratio. In computing for the value of the degree of saturation, we have now S equals to 2.70 times 0.14 all over 0.483. Now, our final answer to the unknown degree of saturation is equal to 0.7812 or 78.12%. Now, let us have a summary of all our results. The value for our water content is 14%, the void ratio is 0.483, and the degree of saturation is 78.12%. I think that's all for today. Thank you and God bless us all.